I feel like I need to do like the la 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 just to get ready.
Mouth exercises.
Who is the whippoorwill? Where is the whippoorwill? I don't know.
You're talking about my parents don't text at all, and just like what is our blind spot going to be growing up,
Right.
Or as we get to that age, what thing are we? I said, well, if we all have to do like our security 2FA by doing the TikTok dances, I think that's where I probably
We'll be in big trouble.
I mean, like it's because it has to be something like, yeah, I could probably sit down and figure that out, but like you would get to that point where like, no, I'm not going to do that. Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier. I was watching The Sting, with Paul Newman and Robert Redford.
Yes. I've heard of it. I mean,
1973, Paul Newman, Robert Redford.
and Robert Shaw.
Oh, yeah. Directed by George Roy Hill.
Huh.
Anyway, there's a certain period of like movies where the product placements are legit brands and they weren't paid to be there. So like in the Godfather movies, Rheingold is that's a New York State brand. Actually, they were the progenitors, the first people to do light beer. That was before.
Cool.
But
Okay.
yeah, I was watching this Sting and they were serving what looks like Schlitz, although I couldn't zoom in.
It does look like the label's off a little bit.
Yeah.
You said that to me, and I was like, it looks like there's extra umlaut, or it's like just a little off.
Yeah. But it's always fun to look for.
Yeah.
I suppose like you could go hog wild on spirits, but like I guess seeing like Seagram's or Jack Daniels in the background isn't really that exciting.
Well, I mean, yeah, because craft beer often is a regional thing, which is why I wonder why they have Schlitz.
Right. And this was our little. We're just going through the photo album here.
Yeah. We
going
had
through our judges meeting, which we talked about a little bit.
yeah.
When we last left the show, we were going to go have a meeting at Friendship Village and had lunch at the Starfire Grill. and
Yeah,
Brewery.
wow.
Brewery
Pretty
and Grill.
impressive food.
Yeah, the food was-
Very impressive facilities. The brewery looks great. The beers that we had were delicious, although they are legacy beers now.
Yes. They have a new brewer. You have worked with him, amongst him, with him.
Tyler worked at the Perch for a little while and at Uncle Bear's for a little while.
Then he
too.
went to Colorado for a bit.
He went to Crooked Tooth. He went to Superstition Meadery.
Okay.
And then after that, he did some California stuff.
Okay.
Could have been to Colorado. Yeah.
I would like to do a podcast from there in their lounge area adjacent to the bar.
Sure.
Because that, was it fifth floor?
Yeah.
Overlooks, you can see Camelback Mountain, you can see the Superstitions.
I mean, Camelback Mountain is perfectly framed in those windows.
I know.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, and it's community for, I don't know, 55 plus, 60 plus, or whatever.
They have a sports bar. They have the brewery. They have a cocktail and wine bar.
Yeah.
They have rooftop pickleball.
Yep.
A couple nice rooftop seating areas.
Right. And
Activities.
it's one of those places you buy in at a certain point and they take care of you till you expire. And there's a waiting list of about 90 people. So,
Which is pretty impressive.
I mean, if you're getting up there, around my age-ish, you might want to start to project where you might want to
get on the list now because they don't turn that list over very quickly.
We were talking about generational things, and like we're going, my friends, you are with some of your relatives going through some, hey, it's time to start considering this, or you're talking about my parents don't text at all, and just like what is our blind spot going to be growing up,
Right.
or as we get to that age, what thing are we? I said, well, if we all have to do like our security 2FA by doing the TikTok dances, I think that's where I probably
we'll be in big trouble.
I mean, like it's because it has to be something like, yeah, I could probably sit down and figure that out, but like you would get to that point where like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just, like that's what it seems like the mindset is like, yeah, they can dial a phone,
Yeah.
they can hit the same buttons, but they just will not text, my parents. And yeah, so
I don't have that. My parents and my aunt text on
Yeah.
the regs. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
yeah. Well, I just think
They use Alexa.
right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, my parents wouldn't do that either.
Oh, yeah. Alexa turned on the living room lights. My aunt loves it. She doesn't have to get up out of her chair.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't find a group or device named Living Room Lights.
so we have one of those in the office. We have. We don't. It's not tied to anything because I kind of gave up on that whole platform. But that sounds like
you got,
I got
you
a
got
package.
delivery today.
So that's the other.
Congrats.
That's the other reason I have it. It tells me I got a package. Although it has to know you're in the room, right? I don't know.
Well, I was just talking. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we had we went to that meeting. That was great. They're
Yeah.
very excited to be new brewery members.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too ahead of it, but like we had a long discussion about that industry and some comparisons to what we do as a guild
And nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit, yeah. But One Barrel Brew House,
Right.
And they have room to maybe get taller tanks right in there if they wanted to.
Getting them in there would be something.
Yeah, I suppose now at this point they
Yeah.
probably
I believe the room was built around.
really.
Yeah, whatever. I don't
could
know.
pull the
They could
glass
take
out.
the glass out and move it, crane it up onto the roof if they really felt motivated, right?
Yeah. All I'm saying is, well, they're not required to make all of the beer because they have other licenses there too.
Right.
So,
Their beer is the fun stuff, and they can get their members involved, and they can do collabs with other breweries and
right.
everything on a super small scale.
Right.
It's freedom, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, or after we had our delicious lunch,
Yeah.
we moved to
Oh, we did the walkthrough at, what is that? The
Cabas Square.
It's the downtown Tempe, like, I don't know.
The
square.
public space in front of Pedal House Brewing in downtown Tempe.
Right. Is where the Arizona Craft Beer Awards Festival is going to be.
Festival is going to
Not
be.
not the awards themselves.
So much
and not the
fence.
judging.
Lots of fence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I'm not I'm glad somebody else is doing that on our behalf, the festival, because I just, that's a lot of fencing and it's a lot of, I mean, there were 6 people in that meeting and it's not like it was contentious or anything, but well, I guess it was from the fire department's perspective. They have to be able to drive, I don't know, they're hook and ladder through there.
They need a 20-foot pass through on the road. And that street's about 20 feet wide,
Yeah.
maybe 26.
Yeah.
It's a little tight, but there's options. And they're extending it down a little bit more past where the original floor plan was. And yeah, they're
I mean, it's
going
going
to
to be fun once it's there, but
Yeah.
it's, it's all the ugly bits beforehand to get it to where, I mean, once people are in there, no one's even going to notice or care.
Right.
So yeah, we did that walkthrough and it was, I don't know, it was uncomfortably hot.
It was
For
pretty
the
warm.
record, we're on day 100 in a row of having a high above 100,
And 5.
105.
Yeah. I think it's more than that, though. Whatever. It's really been
In a-
hot.
in
It
a
is
row.
officially the hottest summer on record until next year.
Probably. And it's, I can't say I've been here for as many days as most people, but it's really starting to wear on you. Cause like if it's 100, 105, I'm usually okay, but it gets old after 30 days in a row, 20 days in a row. Like you usually get some relief. So And this is really late to having. I mean, we're going to have a 114 day. So
Yeah.
it seems like things that cool off quicker though in the evening.
Now, as compared to a month ago, for sure.
Yeah. Still,
I think we've had the luck of a few more clouds this month, even if they didn't really do anything.
Right.
At least they were blocking the sun a little bit
yeah.
or refracting.
Yeah, and if you get into any kind of even hilly territory, doesn't have to be mountainous. It doesn't get the same sun angles, right? So I don't know. I don't know why I'm talking about the weather, other than if this is going to continue, it's really going to compress the times it's enjoyable to be outside here in Arizona, and that affects our businesses, that affects restaurants.
Yeah.
That will someday affect tourism a little bit, if that is noticeably and prominently going to happen. Yeah.
It absolutely affects our members and their patios. A lot of people build 70% plus of their total seating outside.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw Oso in their public space, the park. They were advertising, this is going to be the perfect place for fall. Well, it technically is fall.
I don't know.
I know when September rings in, and maybe it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, we have Wickenburg Oktoberfest coming up September 28th.
Right. I will confidently say I've been tracking that. It is consistently 10 degrees cooler than it is in Metro Phoenix, and I'm hoping that we'll get a pretty. I mean, it seems like when it goes long, the fall off in the high temperatures is pretty dramatic.
Right.
So, personally, it goes from 100 to 85, and then what happens is we don't get any 70-degree days, and I love 70-degree days. It just goes right to 40.
55.
Yeah.
55, you know what that is? That's famous temperature that for me is Long John's time. As soon as it hits 55, Long John's go on.
Hey, 55 is going to be the new 85.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
All right. What else do we have going on?
Well, I ended up going to the what is it? The
Arizona League of Cities and Towns.
No, it's the League of Arizona Cities and Towns.
Oh,
and
that's new.
I'm making this distinction because that's LACT. And I was talking to someone. I'm like, so if I'm serving beer here, am I a lactation expert specialist? LACT.
Let's just continue on with your story.
It was at the very classy Biltmore. I had to bring it down to our level.
Yeah, good job. Good job. We want everyone to be comfortable, right?
Yeah, we did events there a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, that's
we've been
right.
to events. We did our Arizona Brewers Ball there, and following that and before that, Santan did some things there. When 21st Amendment launched, they launched there. There is a prohibition tie apparently to the Arizona Biltmore. I mean, they tell the stories. There's some prominent peaks in the hotel structure, and they said that's where people would be up there spying to see if the cops were coming, the revenue agents. I don't know. I mean, these are all backfilled stories. I was talking to a lobbyist there, and they said they thought that the origin story for the Tequila Sunrise was that the Biltmore laid claim to that. And I looked it up, and it was like the story of it in two different places, and one of them was I think Puerto Penasco.
Okay.
And then there was just a follow-on, and the Arizona Biltmore also claims on making a drink at this period. So it's interesting. It's a beautiful building. It's super elegant in a way that I don't think that other resorts kind of reflect. Right? It's very
got that
unique,
very classic style.
It's like prairie. It's Frank Lloyd Wright designed, and it has some for being a concrete structure. It's very distinctive, and they have some of the prairie style windows and stained glass, and some of the logoing is the geometric Frank Lloyd Wright stuff. But
Right.
so
you were there with the city of Wickenburg,
Yeah.
sharing beers with people from the Arizona League the League of Arizona Cities and Towns.
Yes, and I had never attended that conference before you. Kristen did it because of our association with Wickenburg, and I was like, all right, you're just serving beers at the booth. I kind of classified it more in the boothing and the experience at the governor's conference, and let me tell you, I was completely wrong about that.
Very wrong.
And there is
They do big time activations at this thing.
yes, and it is a drinking
Extravaganza.
I talked to some lobbyists from SRP and APS. I did challenge them on all the stuff that is happening with our businesses where they're having problems, and I don't know.
Getting equipment and
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit. Although, they're like, well, that's not the department, or that's not what I do. But okay, Hey, garnered me a few free drinks, but
all the drinks were free.
no, they're not.
Yeah.
I went there early, sat at the bar, and I think his name is Sean. Sean. He used to work at Fate here. He's a bartender there. I talked to him for a little bit.
Oh, cool.
He's been working there for a while.
Nice.
He's worked at a couple different places. But I talked to him, and they opened the bar like 15 minutes early because I was chatting with the bartenders, and so they opened
Let's
up.
at
and
least just
stuff.
get you something to
And
drink.
so, yeah.
Jeez.
So I kind of held the anchor of that corner of the bar, and I'm gonna say that in terms of our activations between the governor's conference, I mean they're both important, but I would rather spend some resources on the cities and towns because I was late getting into. First of all, they opened up the expo, so they have an expo. They feature different cities, so they bring things. So you can imagine there are all kinds of cowboy activations.
They theme a lot of stuff. They have tons of giveaways. Like, remember to come to our town.
right, and contests.
Yes.
And
Like
so-
hole in one or throw the bean bag
Right,
or
right. And I don't know. There's no return on investment for these cities per se because they're doing it with other cities. It's more of a celebratory thing, right?
right.
It's not like, like I work for the city of,
Litchfield Park.
right. And it's not even to attract those people to go, I might want to work for Glendale or something like that, right? It's just more of a,
Could be.
I know,
I mean,
but-
I'm sure
but
that
it's
they
not the-
rotate in the same circles.
yeah, but I mean,
But
it's
anyone
not,
that's going to that conference isn't on the market.
right. There's nothing that you're buying. Or there's nothing, and there's just, sure, good feels like, I didn't know this about this town in Arizona.
Right.
But it's not like it translates to dollars in the treasury at that town or anything like that. It's just a puffing of the chest. It's very much like our beer festivals,
It's
right?
very jovial.
It's very much like our beer festivals when people are like, let's go, industry people, let's go and check out, see what beers that brewery has. I haven't been there in a long time. Let's go check it out,
Right.
But there was Prison Hill serves beer with Yuma, no one from the brewery. Eloy
They're there every year.
with
Ranch Hand.
Ranch Hand. I saw State 48 was there for a surprise. I didn't get to walk around. They opened that
It's
place up.
rough.
They opened that place 15 minutes early, and that's why I was late. I was like, "Hey, it's Mayor Mitchell, former Mayor Mitchell. Oh, it's former Mayor Mitchell because Dad and son were there. Oh, it's Corey Woods. So that's just Tempe, like 3 mayors, right? Of formerly
That's a
and
pretty
of
big
currently.
deal.
I'm like, and so I was late to be early, and they were getting crushed.
Yeah.
And where we were, it's like you go through a door and like the ice machine's right there, and then there's an entire walk-in. So like I had all the beers in the walk-in.
Oh, that's convenient.
It was
How
super
nice.
convenient. Like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Cool.
but the theme for Wickenburg, in the past it's been Oktoberfest. So this year they wanted to sort of break the mold. They had a miniature pony, Oreo.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of Parks and Rec.
There was a whole
Pawnee.
lot of setting up. They do the floor.
Yeah, they do
Like
the floor.
other booths do not have the floor done. They always get the floor done.
Yeah,
They bring their own. They bought their own floor.
yeah.
And
Well, they had to
yeah.
sandwich it between some plastic wrap because the pony had a diaper, but they were concerned about So we were
All
on
right, then.
I mean, we're on essentially a giant piss mat
Fun ever.
that never it never.
Got pissed on.
No.
With
I didn't have to go, well, this is a Saison smelling beer.
The cause was there though.
No. So it was very popular. People were like, what do I need to do to get a hat or take my picture with a opponent? Like, stand in line, I guess. There was no contest. They were like, so
They did contests in the past.
I ran into Senator TJ Shope in line. I didn't get, you're right, it's crushingly busy. We're going to have to figure that out because the opportunity to network and talk to, literally 3/4 of the cities in Arizona that have breweries are probably there. And so we could focus on that. But I also looked at their curriculum and we should probably pitch for both these conferences. Just to pitch to do a presentation for a governor's conference and this, it could even be the same talk more or less.
Sure.
And we could use the model for Wickenburg as how to work with, because people ask like, oh, how come you guys do it with them? I'm like, here are all the elements. And I said, I focused on like, well, if you have a brewery in your town, they have to be the point on this.
Yeah.
Like they have to come to me and they have to be at all the meetings and they have to
Be
get any
willing to
other
support
breweries.
and get other
And I
things
said,
going.
you need,
Yeah.
for every brewery, you need 5 businesses to participate in terms of selling tickets, putting up posters, taking ownership over it, that kind of thing. So we could do that session, and we could change it. The focus for the governor's conference is different than the focus.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I looked through their lineup of
Sessions,
seminars,
yeah.
and none of them really apply to us.
No, but doesn't mean that we can't present.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because when I talk to some folks, they're like, yeah, they kind of want to break out of the mold of their own
Boring stuff.
Yeah.
Every year we have the Unicorn Festival.
Right.
And all it is cotton candy and slushies.
Yeah. So actually, we did the governor's conference. We did attend something on festivals. I'm like, yeah, this is really not nuts and bolts. It's more, should I do this?
Yeah.
Then how do I do this? And who do I work with? And what are the rules? And all that stuff. Also talked. So this is why, and I'm not by no means did I not have a complete ball pouring beers. I mean, explaining beers, picking beers for people, talking to them about beer. I love that, but it really kind of handcuffed me from getting some of the lobbying
for
stuff
sure.
done. I ended up, a broken, tired festival pourer.
We should be having some of our board members maybe at these things.
Yeah, well, I went there and I went back to the bar because I was like, I'll just have one and see how this shakes out. Because the that lobby of that hotel was just packed, and I just had to sit and wait for people to come and talk to me, which is perfect. But I talked to Senator Sundaration, who's in. So TJ Shope is Coolidge, Florence. But he is a former license holder, so he is familiar with a lot of liquor issues. And I said he and I agreed that we should talk about hemp because he's of the mind that he wants to create the swim lanes, and so do I. We want
Right.
But I talked to Senator Sundaration. She's with she's in Tucson, and her pride of craft beer is that Borderlands has moved into her district. So,
cool.
I mean, as a restaurant. So I said, oh, well, we can talk. And I told her about the women's collaboration and how it moves around. Do you know where it's going to be this next year? What part of the world?
Not.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't remember where we're moving it to next. Or not.
It was in
the Royal We.
It was in Tucson last year, so
Right.
generally that means it would be back in Phoenix, but that's not really our job.
No. Anyway, I talked to her for an hour maybe, which, during the session, you're lucky to get a 15-minute meeting.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Cool.
It was good. So yeah, if that conference in particular, yeah, we need to have our board members pouring beer.
Mm-hmm.
And it really only takes 2 because you can switch off. And That is a room that you want to walk around in, even if you aren't using it to lobby, even if you have no focus at all. It's good for us to learn.
If you have a shirt that says Arizona Craft Brewers Guild, you will get people from the towns walking up to you, no matter where you are,
Right.
to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
we want a brewery in our town. How do we work with you to
Right.
get that done?"
Right. And it's, they're a different industry that tries to show some pride in boothing and presentation. And, I think,
Which is strange, right? You'd think that tourism people would really be on top of that, but
yeah,
they're just showing pride in their town.
yeah.
So I guess it's that lack of economic motivation really lets people be more creative.
So like Nogales had a 20 by 10 and it looked like a New York City fruit market. I mean, like street market,
That's
right?
cool.
Like it was loaded with all kinds of fruit, It was,
Cool.
I'm like, I didn't get any of it.
Well,
You know what I
sorry
mean?
about that.
No. I was ill prepared. And it wasn't your fault because you're probably like, oh, Rob's probably done this. He understands what this is all about. I had not done it, and now I have a whole new appreciation for it. So, and that was your trivia night, was it not?
It was.
So, yeah.
It was good times. What else? Oh, yeah. So,
Holiday weekend or what?
right. Well, then Friday I went down to Tucson
You did.
and met with Chris from 49ers Country Club. Really cool. They want to do more. Chris is a huge fan of craft beer. He is a non-drinker now, so he is super into all the NA beers. He's actually he's working at becoming a distributor for Go NA beer.
Oh, okay.
So he would be selling it at his space. And like I've had it, I've ordered it online and had it delivered to my house, but he's looking at becoming an Arizona distributor for it, which is kind of cool. And then took me on a tour, showed me some spaces we can use for guild meetings that we could use for events. He really wants to do a golf tournament with 18 breweries or maybe even a mix of breweries and other people that want to sponsor holes.
Right.
And then have the brewers golf, like do the early part or the late part, but make sure the brewers get out there on the golf course with random other brewers that they haven't met yet.
Right.
So that sounds pretty fun. Really nice guy.
And the name of the place again is the
49er Country Club.
is like the California 49ers? Or?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's out in Tanque Verde,
Right. Not the team, the mining.
the mining situation.
Right.
They got a little miner guy.
Was our copper and gold rush, is it synchronous with the 49er in the California? Do you know?
I don't want to talk about it too much.
No. I don't know. Like,
They have lots of Arizona craft beer. Then I
Yeah.
went to Harbottle.
Mhm.
I went to Copper Mine.
Did you talk to anybody you know there, or was it just mostly staff that you hadn't met before?
It was staff and some guests, but owners were not
Right.
around.
Okay. No,
I thought I timed it great.
Mhm.
Like a Friday before 2,
Mhm.
generally you can run into brewers wrapping up their week.
Right.
No one. So I did run into Jeremy at Moto Sonora, and they did a collab with one of my friends in New Zealand. They did
Oh.
a Behemoth collab.
Oh, they did.
I'll bring in a crawler that I saved for us.
Were you there when they were there?
No, it was right after CBC
yeah, of
that
course.
they did it. Yeah.
Why would you have a crowler of something? Yeah, never mind.
So
I
yeah,
know how this works.
it's okay. So we'll have that.
Did you
on
know that
another
was
show.
happening ahead of time, or
No.
oh man,
No, I didn't know that. I walked in and they were like, "Oh yeah, and we have this collab." And I looked, I'm like, "Behemoth in New Zealand?" They're
Right.
like, "Yeah, you've heard of it?" I said, "Yes, I have."
You've met and spoke to those people on more than one occasion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Several
so
times.
and I've actually been to their place,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're the last to know. Great.
He did invite me to go down to Tucson, but didn't really say he was doing a collab. This is Andrew from New Zealand.
Right.
I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be in Tucson on this weekend after CBC."
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then I couldn't make it, but
Wow.
um,
That's unfortunate. That would,
yeah.
You know what that means? It'll happen someday.
Mm-hmm.
Can't have this many near misses.
It's almost there.
Yeah.
I went to Slow Body.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I think since you've been there, they may have.
Well, they're open for business now, so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some market changes.
It's gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. Beers were great.
I was only seeing the potential. You actually.
Oh,
saw
I thought you went like the pre-opening weekend.
I don't know that they had decided if they were going to be open at that point.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of use of the space to build and decorate, and it was kind of in a little bit disarray. But yeah.
I did run into a nice lady from Scottsdale Water when
Okay.
I was at Copper Mine.
Okay.
She's the PIO for Scottsdale Water.
Yeah.
We had a little chat. She was down to go visit Vale for a wine tasting with some friends who got a flat tire, so she was killing some time.
Oh. Okay.
Huge craft beer fan.
Yeah. So, and subsequent to this, we've also been appraised of the project again through our board member.
Canal Convergence with
right.
Jim Erickson.
Right. And in the past, in the beginning year of that, we supported it in terms of like, that's a great idea. Our breweries can make their own minds up on it, but we fundamentally disagreed on the fact that they wanted to charge our breweries a boothing fee. And I know it seemed like a weird hill for us to die on, but that is literally like one of the bread and butter issues that was part of the reason why they started a guild. Is if we're going to give away free product, we shouldn't have to pay
To
for
give it
anything.
away, right?
And they use the old saw. Well, we're using it to market, and I'm like, that's not our problem,
Right.
really. Like you're asking someone to donate something and pay for the marketing of the general thing, and if you don't, you can bring in beer without any marketing, and
You can also get that free.
yeah. So that seemed to be the sentiment of a marketing person that is no longer there. And it's just taken a while for
Yeah.
the change that they made. And it was based on the fact that I told a couple of people who participated, we will
Won't
not,
do this until.
we won't ever, I mean, when I say we won't support it, I'm sure there was, the day before the event, we said, hey, if you're going to this, here's the breweries you can go to, right? That's about the extent of
Right.
our
support.
non-support.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm glad that's working out. But again, so
Yeah.
when
but
we,
one thing that she mentioned was it's so different in Tucson going to breweries because they don't have food.
yeah,
She's like, it is so different from being in Phoenix because breweries have food up there.
right.
The majority do, not all of them do, but I think what she's saying is I go to the ones that have food because
Right. Now, bear in mind, though, that she's there earlier in the day. There's a lot of places that have food trucks that don't get there till 5 or 4.
sure. I don't know if
But
that really changes the sitch.
Well, you were there before that?
Oh, we were there when they had a food truck scheduled and she would have
noticed.
stayed.
No, I've noticed that
She sent them to 1912 because they have food there.
I've noticed that I've went to breweries. I'm like, hey, is there food? No, they don't start till 4. And like I've gone to like 2 or 3 in a row. And it's like, oh yeah, it's too
Yeah.
early. But like, that's why I'm
It's
like,
just
do you
different.
have-
That's
do you
all
have-
I'm
do
saying.
you have a bag of
She
chips?
noticed it and
Oh, yeah, no.
she brought it up. She's like, it's
I'm
so
not-
different.
It's I'm not saying it's not true. I just
Yeah.
also time of day matters too a little bit.
So I went to Slow Body. I went
Yep.
to Barrio. I went to Crooked Tooth.
Yep.
They were in Williams for Labor Days. Ben and Julie were.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they weren't there. Then I went to 1912 and Dragoon. And then I went home.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a whirlwind. Oh, I went to Button.
I think the last time I was down there was our April meeting. So it's been
Yeah,
a while.
I know.
And I know that the entire southern and particularly southeast Arizona is I mean I can hear it crying for me to visit.
They've got a lot going on. They've opened breweries in Tucson,
know.
Bisbee. Yeah, it's a lot of action. So
Yeah, it's just well, it's rough too because, even midweek there are places that aren't open Tuesday and Wednesday.
there are breweries that open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Several. that we would miss. But it really takes an overnight to do a Bisbee trip from Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that goes without saying.
It really should be 2 overnights because you would want to stop at some places on the way. But
Right.
I mean, you could zip down there in one day, spend the night, and then slowly make your way back.
Right. It's just tough because, I mean, the time to do that would have been last month and a part of this month. But now, like, you know, more and more of the stuff that I do is tied to the Capitol and being in Phoenix. And it's really tough to commit to a couple days trip when, you know, sometimes things just come up and
Yep.
in the valley here. But did you do anything over Labor Day at all? Did you go anywhere?
No, I did some cooking and baking and pizzaing and stuff like that. Went to my parents yesterday. Great steak lunch.
Nice. So I went to Flagstaff Saturday morning and came back Monday morning. Very,
Yes.
very early.
Right.
If you leave, I know this is not everybody's thing, but if you leave Flagstaff at 6 a.m, you're almost never going to have a problem.
Yeah, I saw some news articles today about how traffic was coming back
Right.
down the 17.
Like, you know, like on a regular weekend, coming back on Monday, leaving at 6, still being able to get to work by 9. And
Right.
sometimes we left at 5.
Mm-hmm.
It really is not a problem. The problem is on the day before you leave, whether you want to, if you make it even a late night or even a late-ish night, or if you start drinking a couple beers even at dinner, it does kind of make it tougher to get up in the morning.
True.
But the same thing. I mean, I find if you leave before 2 p.m., generally you're not gonna have a problem. There's 2 hills that are going to give you a problem once you get out of Metro
Past
Phoenix.
Sunset Point,
Well, I mean, it's the one. Yeah, I mean,
going up towards it. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
such a mess.
it can be, but you know, we did wait when we went up. We did wait to go the next day, and I'm like, well, you know, we basically waited 12 hours to save an hour on the road because it was at least 3 hours at some point, 3 plus. So, you know,
Flying cars.
well, I mean, here's the thing: if you're not in a rush, I mean, just drive slower. It's not.
Uh-huh.
It's like you'll get there. You'll still get there. You'll still get there earlier than most. I don't know, but it is frustrating.
Tell me what you did while you were up there.
You know, I didn't do a lot. I did spend some time at Dark Sky, and it was here's the thing. So like we're there, get there, and we're like, all right, well, where do you want to eat? And like we talked to our neighbor who he's like, yeah, it's all crowded, all Valley people, all very crowded. You know, and take a great salt, but like, you know, like our intention was to go to Beaver Street and sit on the patio. Because until people start listening to what you and I have to say, that is like
It's a golden patio of Flagstaff right there.
It's
Glory
easy,
patio.
easy to get into, shady, quiet, wonderful. That was our intention, but like when we drove by Dark Sky, because we drive by it down
To
Beaver
get-
to get
mhm.
there, like, you know, the patio was relatively empty. They had their arts festival, so I think that occupied a lot of people's attention at the time that we drove down there. And we were with Jeff and Melinda, and they were like, "Well, they hadn't been there in a while," so I'm like, "All right, we'll park here. We'll walk by." And we found a spot.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing I promised that I would go back and get a crowler of black IPA, and I did not do that. It just after our one time downtown, we never left the house again, more or less.
It's
or
okay,
that
man.
area. But
It's okay.
they had a black IPA, and
Yeah.
they had a coffee IPA,
Right,
or
a
coffee blonde. But
right.
it was very it had a good bitterness to it. So it wasn't because of the malt choices. It wasn't an IPA, even if it was a hoppier,
Sure.
more bittered blonde. And it might have had more coffee bitterness. I don't know where the bitterness came from, but it was. I thought it was great. those two beers.
Cool.
You, me, you know.
Andrew's Black IPA. If it was this Black IPA saison, that'd be amazing.
That's like the next tier.
Right.
Yeah, they did not have a smoked beer, which sometimes they do. They had an Oktoberfest, which I thought was pretty enjoyable.
There's smoked beers on at Hair of the Dog right now.
Is it? All right.
Next time you have to run down to Queen Creek to get some stuff.
Yeah. My parents
Yeah.
are down there, and without getting too personal, my dad's been in the hospital. I had to go from Queen Creek to Thunderbird.
It's a haul.
It's a haul.
It's hour and a half? No, you did it so fast the other day.
It was an hour and a half to go from Tempe to Queen Creek to get some stuff to take it to Thunderbird, and then another 45-ish to an
Get
hour
back to downtown Mesa.
Yeah. I did a 3-hour turn on that.
That was quick.
To
I
get
couldn't
to
believe
the
it.
judges meeting. Anyway, we went there. We went to Yucca North, and I had a weird experience there. Like, not because of Yucca North. We were sitting there, and some dude pulls up in a Corvette. So we're sitting, and I could see out the front door. Some dude pulls into a Corvette, in the parking spot in front of the door, the wrong direction, kind of angled wrong, gets out, and then his wife or girlfriend gets in the car, and he walks in. He goes to the water station, pounds a bunch of water, and he asks the bartender apparently about the whiskeys there. They have because it's a number 6 license. They have like Blanton's and a bunch of other things, and I don't know if he sampled a bunch of things and with the intent of buying something to go, and he just left. In the meantime, his wife, or girlfriend, I don't know if they rented that car or she's never driven it, but she, credibly, maneuvered it and brought it back on the right side of the street and parked it in the spot. And then by the time she had done all this,
He
wide
came back
turning,
out and they bolted.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Okay.
no wonder people in fucking Flagstaff hate us, man.
That is weird.
Because you got that whole scene.
That is weird.
But those are the whiskey people, man. You know what I mean? Those are the same dorks that were craft beer people who
Did silly stuff.
right would tick off beers and stuff. Like, what the hell, man?
Right.
And my Brenda got the whole scoop from the bartender because she was curious. I'm like, so I guess he's been driving all over places trying to find on Labor Day weekend.
A certain whiskey? He wants.
I don't know.
Okay.
Driving on the wrong side of the road.
Well,
yeah.
let's move back to the center of our story here, which is beer. not this guy.
No, it just speaks to a thing. I'm not impugning whiskey drinkers. I'm just. They were. I'm sure they were in our tribe for a while too. It's one of those things, man.
We had a visitor this weekend. It was Waldo, Nick Reyes' doggy. Stayed with us for the weekend while he was up helping in Williams.
Oh.
And he's just the best boy, and our dogs get along so
Did
great.
he name the dog Waldo because he worked at
Lagunitas? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Such a good doggy. What else?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. This was talked about at the judges meeting, but we missed the last weekend for Brewers Connection.
I guess so. I didn't know about that.
I saw it. I don't think either one of us were around. So, but the Homebrew Supply Store Brewers Connection, whose time here in Arizona is before I was even, before I was a home brewer.
When I moved here in 98, maybe 99, they were the place.
Yeah. And the pedigree of people who went on to, who worked there, who went on to breweries.
Yeah. And
Craft breweries.
Scott, Plashecki.
Yeah.
A bunch of guys from Oso.
There's 5 or 6 for Peaks Brewers. Several people from Oso.
Yep.
started there. Scott and and I don't know. I would say at least 20 brewers, because there were brewers before. When I was a home brewer, like, I don't remember their name. Like, oh yeah, he went to work for Gordon Biersch, or he went to work for, and it was like, if you're a home brewer, you're like, oh well, you could work for a brewery, but your recipe selection, all those choices are your choices. And when you work at a homebrew store, you're seeing other people's choices, and there are people who understand recipes better than most if you work at a homebrew store, and it's understanding specialty grains
For sure.
which they're going to get a lot more exposure to, and they're going to
Even the more exposure than a brewer, because a brewer's got to pick it out. And then
Right.
when he's picking it out, he's committing to a large quantity. When you're doing homebrew,
right
you can do 5 gallons, 3 gallons,
and
a
you're
gallon.
and they're sitting there and they're seeing, like you've worked retail and it's kind of not busy, like you're reading the labels for stuff.
You're
You're
stocking shelves, and what is this new thing?
right, and you're probably better able to read a grain.
COA.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why, and so that store has been there forever. Well, it moved, but it was Jeffrey Haynes, and then he sold to Brett. They ran it for a few years, and I'm sad to see it go. Like
Me too.
There's only 2 other places in Metro Phoenix to buy ingredients locally,
Right.
and yes, you can buy things online. You can definitely do that, but what you can't buy online every day of the week is
That
fresh.
dude who knows what's going on too.
Well, and fresh yeast. You can get yeast shipped to you. There's no doubt about it. And
incredibly expensive.
and dry yeasts are better than they ever have been.
Yeah.
But to get wet yeast shipped to you, you're
$15 packaging and $15 shipping.
right. And if you're just buying for one batch, you're not getting it put
And
in
$12
enough.
of yeast.
You're not getting it packed in enough ice. I guarantee you. So you almost have to buy a larger quantity of yeast so that there's more thermal
Packing,
mass to
yeah.
it.
I was gonna buy some gummies, some hemp gummies,
Yeah.
and they said $15 extra pack for insulation and cold packs. And I was like, oh no, never mind. Let's go down the street and get weed ones. But I want to try new stuff.
They're saying that heat will.
Melt the gummies. They'll just have goo in your bag. That's happened to me. Not from shipping,
Yeah.
from leaving it in the car, but pretty similar.
Yeah, if it's in that little plastic tub, I wouldn't care. I'll just.
It gets gooey and yucky.
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's wrap this up. Now that we've said hemp, that means it's time to end the show.
All right. Okay.
Well, I do have a meeting that I have to get rolling off to pretty soon. We have a few more minutes.
Yeah. Well. Okay. No. You're right. We're done.
You're right. We're done.
We're done. Yeah. We're done. We're done.
Oh, yeah. We had our meeting today at the Capitol for the A250, the America 250 Arizona project, where they launched their logo campaign. So if you have a hankering to create a logo for this state commission regarding the America's 250th anniversary coming up in 2026, they're starting a whole program.
Right.
You can go to azsos.gov. It's the Arizona Secretary of State, and you can learn all the information. If you would like to go to Wickenburg Oktoberfest, just go to azcbg.com, and it'll forward you to wickenburgoktoberfest.com. That'll send you to chooseazbrews.com/Wickenburg Oktoberfest or something. All that stuff can happen.
Yeah. So you just with the AZ250
AZ250
logo contest,
Right.
I'm guessing you scooped everybody except Cronkite News,
Okay, thank you.
because you were telling me there was
Because
just.
there were 4 journalism interns there,
Yeah.
students that
I'm guessing from ASU's School of Cronkite School of Journalism.
chances are good. Yeah,
Right. So
The press.
Dennis Welsh wasn't.
We did
there.
not have Fox, ABC News, CNN, and
Right.
yeah, that wasn't the press conference. It was mostly for Facebook. live stream.
I'm just gonna say, like Dennis Welch from Politics Unplugged was
Sure,
there, and I know
sure.
he gets all the stuff from the secretary because when Secretary Fontes did our proclamation, he actually discussed it on his podcast that I'm not going to be able to make it to drink beer. Like I think he's just having this to drink beer on Friday. I'm like, so
Fontes is
indirectly,
the nicest guy ever.
and indirectly, he referenced the event that the secretary was doing with us. So I know he gets the releases. So Dennis Welch was not there.
Dang it. Maybe next time.
He's on my mind because I'm listening to their podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Now I think we're ready to go.
It's not a beer podcast. It's a podcast about beer.
Right.
I did it. Cheers.
Cheers.